Okay,
it says you're recording.
Hmm?
It says you're recording, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just recording there anyway. So was there anyone in particular that you wanted to hear from or anything, or?
Well, my grandmother, really. She's the one that seems to be so elusive to me.
Right. I kept hearing the name Uma in my ear, but I can't pretend that I didn't see on your page during the week you said some name that looked similar like that, but it was just a name that I was kind of hearing in my ear. So
yeah, it's Amma.
Amma, okay, yeah.
We called it Amma. Yeah.
I was hearing something like Uma or something like this. So
yeah, it's very, very unusual even for South Africa. But I think Amma is Indian for like older loved one or something like that. I don't know who gave her the name, but we all just called her that.
Oh, okay. I know there's some like woman in India. She touches you or hugs you or something like that. Her name is Anna, and people are supposed to get healing from it. So
all right.
Just give me a minute now.
If I start going tick, 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 I just completely throw you off.
No, it's okay. I need to get used to distractions anyway.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, this might take a while for me to get into it because I was doing readings the other day and it actually took me about 10 minutes to actually get the person. I was given all the information and stuff, and it was taking about 10 minutes, and I kept getting all of the stuff wrong. I was like, Jesus Christ, is this not going to, happen or something like that? But then after the 10 minutes, it started coming through. So
I think it might just be that little nervousness in the beginning, like,
Hmm. And was the grandmother on your dad's side of the family?
No, she was on my mom's side.
Oh, well, this is going off to a flying start.
Sorry about
it. Was she musical?
No. I wouldn't say no. She wasn't at all.
Like what I was shown was like symbols or something like that. So I don't know if there's some sort of did she have anything like even a souvenir or an ornament that looked like it would be some sort of like a musical thing, like on a string, like symbols or chimes or something like that?
I have to ask my mom. I'm not 100%, but I do know. I think. Sorry, Jonathan's trying to tell me something about my grandmother's house that he wouldn't even know. I do know my mom and my uncles and my grandfather was in the church brigade.
I remember you saying that at one time, yeah. So I don't know if that's what he's referring to or not, but I don't know why they give me symbols like that are so, bizarre. But
yeah, no, I'll ask. I know my mom was in the brigade, so I'll ask her about that. Like,
okay, no problem. Do you remember your grandmother like having allergies or something like that, or with the nose or the stuffing with the sinus?
100% yes. Oh no.
Because she's just bringing me to the nose area, and I just feel like I'm all kind of clogged up or stuffed up or something like that. But I feel like it's, I don't know if it's to do with pollen or something like that, or dust or something like that. But I just felt like I couldn't.
100%. She couldn't really smell because, most of us on that side of the family suffers from allergies. So, like, we used to stay over at her house if we were drinking because she couldn't smell it.
Yeah.
So she suffered from allergies for as long as I know.
Let me see. Do you remember her? Did she make something like some sort of like a fruit punch or something like this? I'm seeing something that looks like, the way sangria looks, where it's a cocktail of like different types. So I don't know if did she make her own cordial or something like that, or her own drink, or?
I'm not 100% sure. She used to, these diluted drinks. The one thing I do remember is she used to make those into frozen, like, ice lollies.
Right.
But my aunt who lived with her had this huge, you know, like those bowls that you put
Yeah, like
like
a
the
big punch
cocktail
bowl.
mixes
Yeah.
in. Yeah, one of those with the cups that are around it. I'm almost sure they had something like that.
And do you reckon maybe it's going to go in a big batch or something like that, or?
Yeah, and then you just take the cup and you kind
I'd
of.
say that's what
Yeah,
she's trying to show me. Yeah.
yeah. I'm almost sure my aunt had it because I saw it in my head when you started talking
Psychic
about
Jodies
like.
and the pro. Let's see.
Yeah. No, because you know what's mad? Yesterday,
Mm.
I was kind of having like this conversation with my grandmother in my head,
Mm.
and it's like seriously, I said to her like, why don't you come through? Why didn't you come through when Trevor spoke to you before? And like in my head, she was saying, but who is he? And I said, well, he's my friend, and he can channel energies. And she went, well, this is in my head. And she went, oh, I said, well, if you can, will you speak so I know what you know, if there's anything, because obviously she is so stubborn, so.
Yeah. I know this sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but she's just showing me with grey hair, so she obviously had grey hair. But I did also see the picture on Facebook, so I can't pretend that I'm just. But she is
well,
genuinely
she
showing
was
me grey
99.
hair. Like what old person doesn't have grey or white hair? Was her hair never long? Was it always kept in a shorter style?
No, when she was younger, her hair was relatively long.
Oh, okay.
Just from pictures I remember seeing, you know, from the curtain.
But for a long time, was the hair in a shorter kind of a cut though, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, as long as I'm alive, her hair's been on the shorter side. Yeah.
Right, that's okay. Yeah. And she had brothers as well?
Yeah.
Was there two brothers or?
I think so. Like, I'm not 100%.
They were split up or
I
something?
think they might be. I'll double check with my mom. Sorry?
Was the family broken up or split up or something, or?
No, my grandmother, obviously, when she got married, she moved to like a residential area in Cape Town where my family lives.
Right.
But her own family is from a wine farm an hour away. So when I was little, I didn't really know. You know, we used to go to everybody's house, but I didn't know who everybody was.
Right.
So I know she had a brother. I'm almost sure she had two, but that I'd need to double check.
Yeah.
Because
I definitely
I'm not sure
had
if the one
two
had
brothers,
died.
so. But I didn't know, she didn't say anything else about the brothers, but she just said she just made a reference to kind of two brothers there. So maybe there is something else kind of there, or, but it comes through to me with the energy. So it could be even someone that was similar to a brother, but it's that kind of a vibration of a brotherly. So there must have been either a biological brother or else someone that came into the family and was treated like one or something like that. But there was definitely a reference to
double check with my mom because she had two sons.
Right.
So, I don't know if it maybe reference that.
You had two
check
sons,
about.
Or?
No, my grandmother has two sons.
Oh, so she does have two sons.
Like my mom. Yeah. I thought you said brothers. Her brothers.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. No, I did, didn't I? Okay, yeah.
It's okay.
I was making a pick there, wasn't I?
It could be a reference. You see, I wouldn't know. Like, I mean, I think I kind of only found out after you passed that one of the family members was my grandmother's brother. But it might be a reference to my two uncles, because my mom has two brothers.
Yeah, maybe she was talking about her two brothers. Yeah, I don't know. Just be guessing everything. Did she ever have cancer? Do you remember?
No. No, she never. She wasn't a sickly person. My aunt who lived with her passed away from cancer.
Okay. I don't know, maybe I don't know if that's a way of her telling you that maybe she's there at the moment or something. The
other one that passed of cancer was my the oldest, my mom's older sister, like she passed away from cancer, but she lived with my grandmother when it came to the end, just before she went into hospice. She
Right.
actually, my grandmother looked after her before she passed.
Oh. Did your grandmother have a dog?
Yeah, she did actually.
Yeah, she just showed
The teaser dog.
Was it a brown colored dog? Do you remember?
It was a black dog, but had very distinctive brown, almost like eyebrows.
Right. Okay.
It was a small black dog. Yeah, she had brown patches, I remember, on the eyes.
And where she lived, I don't know where she's bringing me, but she's bringing me to somewhere that had a bridge that went over water. Is there like some sort of a river or something like that where there's a bridge that people have to cross over, or either by car, or she just showed me like a bridge?
I do remember, like, when we used to go visit her family in the Winelands.
Yeah.
You would cross, like on the highway, there'd be a river running below us, like, but there was it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a traditional bridge. It was kind of the highway, but if you look to the side, you could see the river and people could picnic there, because I always asked if we could go there. Right. Because it was quite pretty.
Did she grow fruits on her property, like, I don't know, olives or small fruits or something like that, or?
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, my grandfather grew roses.
Right. Oh, these are.
I have to ask my mom. I'm not 100% sure.
Because what I'm being shown is something like a vineyard.
Oh no! You know what? Oh my God! I'm so silly. She had a pomegranate tree in her backyard.
Right. Okay.
She had this huge pomegranate tree, like, and I think she used to use the pomegranates. I really liked it.
All right.
Oh, and grapes. She used to have, like, on the back wall, she had almost like this hole. It almost looked like an alcove, like you could sit underneath it. It was like vine leaves and grapes growing in the backyard.
I was made aware of like a vineyard or something like this. Yeah, so that makes sense. Let me see now.
Marriage is a real tightrope walk. Did you mention your date everything I said is embrace all these crazy conspiracy theories.
Just making me aware of her hands as well. I just feel like I know she was elderly and stuff, but her wrinkled kind of hands. So I don't know if that's a memory that someone has when they touched her hands, that they could feel the ripples or the wrinkles in the palm of her hands. And I also feel about her as well, she's a very gentle energy, but I also feel that she could cut you with her stare. I feel like she had a certain look that, could just kind of cut you or something.
Yeah, I get my personality from her. Lovely woman, but she had no qualms telling you exactly what she thought of you. And like, she and my grandfather used to sit in a car on Sunday afternoons and read the newspaper. And I would sometimes sit with him, and they'd be staring at people, and I'd tell him not to. And she says, "For what? My eyes don't pay rent." So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And did you have a particular arm-sized chair or something like that? Like one of those, they look like an orthopedic chair, or?
I'm not at close to the end. I'm not 100% sure, but she did have a chair that was next to the telephone.
Did it have like a check? Because the one I'm seeing has like kind of like a check kind of a pattern, or
Her furniture it wasn't check. It was like, it almost looked like embroidery.
Right.
But it was, I think she had this brown suite, like my uncle still has it, like, with like, it was a, not imbuer, but it was like, you know, that old school furniture with the claw feet, like the sturdy, you know, it's really sturdy furniture. And like the cushions were almost like embroidery, but it was like a brown kind of color, like light brown. I can't explain it to you properly.
There was some sort of pattern or design on it, was there, or no?
Yeah, it was like this almost like swirly designs on it, but she's had it. I mean, since I was a baby, she must have had it before then. And she would always, I know later in life, I think she was always sitting on the couch. But I'm not 100% sure about an orthopedic chair. I must check with my mom.
It just looked like one of those, you know, the fireside chairs or something like that. It would only fit one person, but it wasn't an armchair. It was a smaller kind of a...
No, she had one. Jude. Yeah, it was. She had the couch, and then she had a chair that was exactly like the couch, but it was next to this like my grandfather carved out this like cabinet, and the telephone was on there. So if she was on the phone, she'd sit there, you know, when she's chatting to people.
Right. Would she also been like, I don't see her exactly as being someone that was just in the kitchen cooking. I feel like she could do the men's job around the house as well, because she's just showing me she was breaking a piece of wood with her hands. But I don't know if that's a symbolic for her not being afraid of hard work or getting to work outside or something like that.
Yeah, like before my grandmother got really frail, she used to climb up the ladder to wash windows and stuff, and she fell off so many times, broke her glasses. Like, she was just one of those people that liked being independent, and she liked doing things for herself, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, she wasn't afraid. Like, even, I mean, she was about 90 years old, still climbing up on ladders trying to wash her windows outside, and you know, that my mom or my aunt would have to tell her like she needs to stop doing it.
But was her husband was he passed before her?
Yeah, many years.
I feel like she wasn't with someone at the time of her like passing, in the sense of in a relationship or when it that.
No, my grandfather was her only love, and he passed away 28 years ago. I was like 13 years old when he passed.
But would he have been more of a gentler kind of a man, or?
My grandfather was very impatient. He was a lovely man, you know, and he was known for going out of his way to help people, and he used to go to this orphanage as well because his friend's daughter was there. She was born without arms and legs, so they, you know, he was very giving. But
yeah, he just seems like this kind of either as gentle as your grandmother or else gentler, or like there's some kindness or an affectionate kind of a energy with him.
Yeah, they were always together, you know. Everywhere they went, they were all, if my grandfather was somewhere, my grandmother would be right next to him.
Is there a picture of the two of them holding hands together?
I don't know.
It has to be something like either a wedding picture or something like that, because I feel like they're dressed up and they're just standing side by side, and it's just them in the photograph, but they're holding hands together. But it's just like a really sweet kind of a photograph of just the two of them, where it has to be outdoors and the sun has to be shining as well, and there's a tree kind of behind it, like that.
Yeah, there's a photo now. I'm not sure. Like when I posted the thing on Facebook, there's actually a photo of my grandmother and my grandfather, and I think they were at a wedding in a gardens, you know.
Yeah.
Like in South, and they're standing next to each other, and they both dressed up.
Okay, that makes sense then. If you see that later on, send it to me, because I'd just be interested to see like
I will.
picture versus what I'm kind of seeing.
Yeah, no, I have it. I have it on my phone because it was kind of one of the, like, you couldn't see the whole picture,
Right.
but it's a picture of the two of them, and then there's like almost like it looks like a big rose bush or something behind them, or on the side of them, something like that. But yeah, that's a picture taken outside.
Yeah. Did your grandmother reach till her 90s in age?
Yes. She was 99 when she passed. She was a few months short of 100.
You're no good for a psychic because you're giving them all the information, Jodie.
But that was on my post yesterday.
I don't think I actually saw it. You don't actually come up on my page all that too often. I don't know why. But the number I got was 96, so lucky I didn't say that because I would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah, you would have been so wrong.
I know. I'll give you a refund. Let me see.
So, what's it to you or what you go to message you? If you watch something onto your feed.
Did she have like do you remember her having stiff joints or arthritis in the hands or something, or?
Yeah, she did. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% if it was in her knees, but I know she had to have an operation to put pins into her knees also. So I don't know if it was related to the arthritis or if it was, wear and tear of the kneecaps. But she definitely had arthritis in her hands.
And towards the end, did she just look really gaunt? Did she really like lose so much weight? Because I just feel like her hands are really to bone, not bone, but
she looked skin and bone, yeah. I mean, I think largely because of obviously of the age,
Yeah.
Like in her 90s, she started getting skinnier, and at the end, she was just skin and bone.
Was she not able to eat foods though? Like, did they have to put fluids into her instead or something? Or
no, she could eat up until the end. She could eat, yeah.
Because they were just bringing me to the stomach, but I just felt like there was something put into her intravenously to give her, I don't know, some nutrients or something. But they just keep bringing me to the stomach for that.
I'll check with my mother.
Yeah.
Jonathan's saying that they didn't ask. Apparently my mom told him that she was an intravenous when she fell. Okay, so she fell. I know she fell at one stage at the nursing home.
Oh, right, okay.
Black and blue, and she was in hospital. And he said she was in a drip. I mean, I never had that conversation with my mom, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll ask her anyway.
Oh, what the? It's good.
Do you remember her having some sort of a skin disorder, like a scaly kind of almost like dermatitis or something like that? The word I was getting was scabies, but I know it doesn't feel right. So I just feel like the hands are really kind of rough, and I don't know if it just feels like really rough and dry. But I almost feel like it's like eczema or dermatitis or.
I have that.
Oh, you have.
I don't think she had it, but I suffer from like dermatitis where it actually peels the palms of my hands.
Right.
Like I get it really, really badly, but I don't think she had it. I'll double check, but I'm not 100. I mean, I suffer from it really. Like I've gone through stages where it looks like the palms of my hands were burnt.
She's saying, I don't know. Like I'm just guessing here, but maybe she's saying because she's letting
validating
looking at the situation.
No, because I on and off, when my allergies get really bad. I also suffer from contact dermatitis, so I tend to flare up at times, and it's really painful.
Me too. I can't use like washing liquid or anything. That's how I get out.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody said it was because I was lazy, but really, I wasn't joking about the dermatitis.
Was there frankincense burned at her funeral or anything? Because I'm just being made aware of a smell of frankincense, but I don't know how kind of place it.
Does frankincense smell like sage?
No, it's more like it's like that church, that really strong church kind of smell. Like
Yeah, well, in our church, yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't been in years, but you know when they kind of swing that.
that thing, yeah.
Yeah. I would. They probably did because I think they normally.
Well, they do it at everyone's funeral, don't they? I think so, anyway.
No, I haven't been at a funeral in over probably 12 years, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'll double check with my mom. I know with the Anglican church, it's normally part of a church service, but I don't know if everybody has that. This,
Yeah.
like the smoke. I was gonna say smoke machines now. The smoke.
The strobe lights.
Oh my God! Don't make me say things like that, please.
Let's see.
Just look at them. My dance lesson with Paddington certainly paid off. If you twist my dance lesson with Paddington certainly paid off.
Did she have a certain very old pair of slippers that she just used to wear all the time, that she wouldn't let anyone buy her new ones or something like that? Do you remember that?
I'm not 100% sure. I used to send her slippers like every kind of. I don't know if it's every year. I did 1 year for her birthday buy her Willy slippers. Well, that was a joke. Like I think she was 90, but I have to double check with my mom on that one because I haven't lived there for over 10 years now, so I wouldn't have seen but I'll check with my mom.
Yeah, because I just saw a vision of the slippers, but they just looked like ones that are really basic or kind of old or something like that. But I don't know if it's her way of saying as well that she just liked things the old-fashioned way, and she didn't really like buying the kind of the newer things. She was happy with what she kind of had and stuff, and she didn't
She used to have the slippers that you kind of slip on, but like that goes over the back of your foot, so it doesn't. It's not open, but. She actually, when she was going out or whatever, she'd always buy really expensive dresses, and I always kind of went like, things so expensive, but it's these floral dresses that the older women wear and stuff. I was like, I can't believe it cost that much.
Yeah.
I overslept. I couldn't tell where it was coming from.
Do you remember an ornament in her house that looked like a shield, or something in the house that looks like a shield? Like wood or something, or
ornament. Shield.
In your house, am I?
What?
I'm probably picking up on stuff in your house, am I?
She I don't know, like I wouldn't call it a shield, but she had this clock, right? And it had almost like a dome that went over it.
Okay.
Because I was always fascinated because at the bottom, I don't know what you call them, but it looked almost like 3 balls at the bottom that used to move, like as the clock. But the dome was always on it, but I can't remember if the dome broke. Like, I have to double check with my mom.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the only things I can think of.
Yeah, okay.
Either that or they might have, I think there might have been a wooden shield. Like, I'm kind of looking at something that, how do you explain it now? It looks almost like the shape of a shield. Like that, but I can't remember if it's in her house or I'm just imagining it from somebody else's house, but I'll double check that.
I don't know if it's even something like the thing that you brought me back from South Africa. I don't know if it's something like this. You know, see the way that's like a shield kind of a shape. So I don't even know if it has to be a circle shape. So I don't know if it's, does she have anything like that, what you brought me back from South Africa, or no? Or
She had masks in her house. I'm not 100% Trevor. I'll ask my mom. A lot of, like, my grandfather carved out this unit for, so a lot of the stuff in the house was things he either made or, but I don't recall anything like a mask. But the shield, like, I kind of picture this thing in my head, but I'm not sure if it was from her house. But I'll check with my mom. She would know.
Okay.
Bloody toes. But Lala had none. So
Do you ever feel someone like blowing at your face or something, or do you feel like a random breeze at your face?
Occasionally.
Yeah, because I feel like that's her. But would have to be at a time when there's no other relevant reason for like a breeze in the house. So, but I feel like she just showed me her lips, and I feel like that's kind of her way of kind of kissing you or something like this. I just feel like that's her little kind of way of you knowing when she's definitely around. That little kind of breeze.
Yeah, I've had it a few times. Like, there's no reason for it, and then I'd always kind of wonder, you know, if it was her, because I think I told you this before. Just after she passed, I started getting like woken up by something smacking my legs, like that I'd actually sit up, and there was nothing, and it would be something she would do, because I always just tell her, when you go one day, come to me, but don't scare me. But obviously she's the type that would have, you know, and it happened a few times in the week, like just like smacking on my legs, like really, and it was hard enough to wake me and for me to actually sit up. So and this happened just after she passed.
All right. So she's still beating you from the other side.
Yeah, from the other side.
That's all I'm kind of getting for Jodie. So I'll leave her love with you. So you got a couple of things. It wasn't perfect, but there's a few things for you to go away with, maybe to check and see if some other things kind of make sense. But that's kind of it.
No, I mean, then, like, most of the things made sense to me because obviously I can link it to things I remember.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a few things like that I check with my mom, because she definitely know, like, you know, I mean, I think, as I said yesterday, my mom, it was the first time she's ever experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
And she said it was so wonderful because she was looking at the candle, and then as it was about to die, it's almost like that last burst of energy, like it really, the flame really lit up, and then it went down at the same moment my grandmother had
I'm
passed.
watching Catfish.
You're watching Catfish?
Yes. Yes.
You're not supposed to watch Catfish, dude. You make me look really bad.
I'm watching Catfish. I'm watching Catfish. Yes. Yes.
Yes, dude. Yes. And then, yeah, so I think that was like my mom's kind of first experience to know that my grandmother was around.
Yeah.
You know, because she'd never experienced anything like that before. And what I did tell her at the time, when I kind of heard my grandmother's voice in my head, was at Christmas for my mom to light a candle in remembrance of her that my grandmother asked. And so my mom said this time she decided to do it again. So I don't know if that was like my grandmother validating what I told my mom as well, you know, about lighting that candle. And then obviously yesterday she kind of came to she was with my mom. And, you know, that was her way of showing that she's there. So,
all right. Well, thanks very much. Thanks for being the guinea pig today. And I'll figure a way to send that on to you now. Hopefully I'll be able to, because it's 40 minutes long, but maybe I can put it on you know, the way you can send on Gmail, like you can put it on the cloud or something like that. I don't know, but I'll try to figure it out anyway, and I'll send it on to you so you can watch it back over, and maybe some
Yeah,
other things
brilliant.
will come up from her or something like that. Yeah. All right.
All right, then. Thanks very much, Salpe.
You're very welcome. See you now. Bye.
Bye. Bye.